So today, there's a lot of people lying to themselves. And I don't know why they're lying to themselves, but they are. Maybe it's easier to lie to yourself about your team, your Republican idols, but the majority of them being complicit in some of the most shady corruption we've seen in a long time. Maybe it's easier to tell yourself, this is all made up. Devin Nunes, William Barr, Rudy Giuliani, the great Donald Trump, Mike Pence, they're, they were all involved in working with the foreign country to not only mess with our elections, but to also assault an American ambassador? No, it can't be true. Maybe that's easier than having to face the truth. And I've seen this argument all day today from people who said the Democrats got a hold of Lev Parnas. They're putting the squeeze on him so he'll implicate Trump. Okay. Um, but what about the pictures? What about the documentation that we have? What about the phone calls? About all those interactions? Not to mention, well, what about Rudy Giuliani doing Instagram Live with Parnas? The many times we've heard Devin Nunes, I don't know who this Les Parnas is. And then we find out he phone calls. And look, I'm as critical of mainstream media as anyone. And I like a good conspiracy theory. But it all has to kind of be wrapped up in something logic, a little bit of facts. The facts are kind of hard to find when there's certain conspiracy theories, like the Gulf of Tonkin, for instance. It was very difficult to kind of weave through that. But something didn't seem right. Things didn't add up. And logically, nothing worked out. But on this one, we're supposed to say, no, there's a conspiracy going on here. The Democrats set this whole thing up. It's all fake. So, why would they do it in that manner? So here's what I've heard. The conspiracy. The Democrats got into Parnas's account and Rudy Giuliani's account and Nunes and Pence and Trump, and they falsified all these interactions back and forth. And then they went to Parnas and they said, "Look, we got all of this, and if you don't come clean, if you don't tell our story, then you're going away for a long time, or we're going to kill you." I've heard that too. Logically, I ask this question. If the Democrats were able to do all that, and mind you, this is a party that can't sit through a funeral without farting. They can't win the most winnable election, but yet they can do this deep, complex conspiracy. But if they can do all that, if they can falsify all these documents and get a hold of all these people's electronic devices, and they can send transactions back and forth, and they can build up this whole thing. By the way, working coincide with Fox News on some of this stuff, why would they go to all the work? I mean, if I was a part of some shady Democratic group who was planning to do all this, or better yet, my whole goal was just to get Trump, which is what they always say. That's what this whole thing's about. The Democrats want Trump, want Trump. Well, why wouldn't they just hack into Rudy's phone or his computer and send an email to Trump's computer or phone and say, Putin's in. We're selling the country to Russia for 5 cents an anchor. I don't know, whatever. Then hack into Trump's account and send something back. Wouldn't that be a lot easier? Or even better yet, the thing I would go with if I was the head of the Democratic Party and this was how I wanted to handle things and I somehow had the ability to do it, I'd put child porn on Trump's computer. People would be real quickly done with 45. You don't fuck with someone who diddles kids. Almost all of his supporters would be like, look, I was down for putting kids in cages. I was cool with the genocide in Yemen, corporate welfare. I, stepping on the poor to help the rich. Yeah, I'm down for all that. But diddling kids, I'm out. 45. You're on your own. Why instead would the Democratic Party find some guy who most Americans have never heard of until yesterday and put the entire story, the entire weight of impeachment on him? You know that there is a ton of people having the water cooler talk today. They're like, "Hey, did you hear about that Les Primus guy?" No, Les Primus. Oh no, you mean Les Claypool? He's the guy who works with Primus. Yeah, he's working with that dude Yovanovitch. They're trying to get Biden a job, I think, in Ukraine. Like that. I'm not calling American people stupid. I'm really not. But it's such a multifaceted, deep layered story that is so goddamn complex that to follow every aspect of this, you have to take like 4 hours out of your life to deeply research it. Why would the Democratic Party put all their eggs in that basket? That's completely ludicrous. But I guess if that helps some people sleep at night to tell themselves that lie, I guess I get it. But at some point, you're going to have to wake up and realize that you're supporting the dirtiest administration we've ever seen. And just like a cancer, it is spreading. You would do best to call out your own representatives. Maybe you could stop it. Maybe people wouldn't think the last greatest Republican was John Warhawk McCain. But I don't know. I guess you'd have to tell me that the Republican Party hasn't just turned into a complete cult now. I mean, it's it's facts, not feelings, bro. That's what you used to tell us all the time, right? Anyway, that's my thoughts on the whole thing. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on what's going on. I didn't break down all of this, the interviews. I'm sure that if you're listening to my channel, you know it all. Um, I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Have a great weekend. Tomorrow, I do have an interview with a comedian, and I can't remember his name. I apologize for that. And then the wrap up show will be on Sunday. Unless something happens or I just can't not do a show, those are the two that are coming up. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate all your support. Take care.